Hey there and good afternoon. My name's Tony Curl and I'm the founder and the coach in Think and Grow Business. I also run a local podcast out here called the Redlands Coast Business Show. So I'm also the vice president of the Redlands Coast Chamber of Commerce. So I've got a lot of excitement, a lot of care and a lot of trust in the local Redlands Coast business community. And it's fair to say that we've been working in some really challenging and changed times. The environment that we face at the moment is really quite challenging for us all. And that's why it's really pleasing to see the Redland City Council extend support to the business community and to the community in general for some grants. And thanks for joining me today, because I just want to walk through some of those hints, tips, some little bits of advice. If you are thinking of going for one of those grants, or you're thinking that those grants may be able to be useful for your business. Now, particularly from a business point of view, we've got a $1,000 grant from the council that can be utilised for professional services, and a $5,000 grant to be able to be used to restructure or rejig or to effectively innovate your organisation. So I will go into these in a little bit more detail. Hi, Julie Cisco. Good to see that you're on in just a sec. But I really want you to think about this in a really positive space, because when you go on and do some research in and around what other councils are doing, what other local councils are doing, what the Redland City Council is offering in terms of the grants to the business community are well and above of what you see in most councils. So a lot of other councils fundamentally are just pointing people to providing links, for example, to federal government incentive packages or state government incentive packages. So I think that this is a real kudos to the Redlands Coast community and to the business community that our council is supporting us in this particular way. And Karen Williams, our mayor, has been quite vocal in saying that this is stage one. So there may be more coming on down the path. There may be more, or there may not be needed. Let's hope that we all start to traverse our way out of the current crisis and we start to work through and recover. And that would be an exciting period for us all. Now, it's important to note that these business grants are part of a $370,000 package. And that package incorporates a $10,000 grant that's available to community organisations. So we don't necessarily have a clear breakup about how much funding is being driven into the community packages and into the business packages. What we do know, or what I believe that we know, is that $80,000 has been the innovation grant, the $5,000 grant, has been funded through $80,000 of the URUP funding, which is a regional innovation funding program. So if that runs its course and that $80,000 is used to cover the $5,000 grant, you can do the sums. You can say that maximum of 16, if there's 16 businesses that are approved for the full $5,000 funding, that would exhaust that $80,000. So what that would indicate is that $5,000 one, the funding program, is probably going to be fairly competitive. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind. And what that would then also indicate is that there's $290,000 available for both the community grants and the $1,000 business grant. Now that's just me doing my sums, and that's just giving me a bit of a realistic understanding of what sort of funding is going to be available and how competitive the grant process will be. Obviously, the council will have a selection process in and around the grants. So going for a grant is no guarantee that you will get the grant. So that's important to note. It's not just money for jam, so to speak. So let's have a look at council's provided quite a fair bit of information. So you can work and navigate through that information. But I'm just going to point out some of the key points of some of that information that is currently available on the council website. So let's look at the $1,000 grant first. So the eligible services that you can use that for are things like accounting, financial planning, business consultancy, legal services, HR, human resource services, or other business-specific advisors, right? So accounting, financial planning, business consultancy, legal services, human resource consultants, other business-specific advisors. Now, the applicants themselves must be a registered business or sole trader. They must be operating and not insolvent. They must be based in the Redland City local government area, which is absolutely positive. Able to demonstrate financial hardship due to COVID. Able to demonstrate annual turnover is less than $5 million. Employing between 0 and 19 staff. And there is a recommendation and a preference process given to providers of the services as well. So there is a real encouragement for the services to be provided by a local consultant, which is, once again, it's absolutely positive. So what can be funded? So products and services that provide support and relief to Redlands Coast businesses adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And there's two eligible components. There's the 1,000, there's the 5,000. The applicants must be able to demonstrate, so for the $1,000 grant, the applicants must be able to demonstrate that the professional advice service they intend to engage has the necessary registration and professional indemnity insurances required under the legislation. The other thing that you must think about is, and it's part of the process of the application, is how does these services improve and impact on those impacts that you felt through COVID-19, right? So how does that, what it is that you're looking to do, how is that going to positively help you navigate some of the impacts and the issues that you felt through the negative impacts that you've had with COVID-19? And that's really, really important. What won't be funded, and this is really, in every grant process, there is a what won't be funded. So things like ongoing operational costs, any sort of debts that you have to any entity, including council, any sort of project costs incurred outside the funding period. I think the funding is, I think the application is needs to be finalised by June. Day-to-day operational costs, including staff wages, rent, insurances, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a number of things that won't be costed or won't be funded, and then what will be funded needs to absolutely highlight and go on how this will benefit your business from the impacts that you've had. In relation to the $5,000 funding, the value of $5,000 to re-engineer or restructure business operations to ensure viability and continued operations. This may include the use of technology, research, development, design, and any of those innovative programs, products, services, or collaborations that you may be looking at to build a more sustainable business and more sustainable revenue streams. Really clear during the application process that any proposed benefits must be shown as to how that will improve your business in relation to the impacts or the negative impacts that you've had through the COVID-19 crisis. So be very mindful of that. They must demonstrate hardship. So as a business, you must show that what that hardship has been for your business, whether it's been a drop of sales, a drop of revenue, having to put off staff, whatever that look like for your business, you need to be quite open in relation to that in your application. So, so one of the things that I really want to share with you now So that's the formal side. All that advice is all available on the council website. So there's a great deal of information. The impact that the pandemic has had on your business. What are some of those urgent needs? And it's almost like there's a little bit of a survey in there as well. There's a lot of questions that you've got to go through, so the council is going to get a fair bit of information based around your application. Just be mindful of that. This is part of the process for the council, making sure that they're making the right decisions on who's going to receive the grants. As I said, going for the grant doesn't necessarily guarantee that you'll get the grant. So you really need to seek some advice, seek some support as to what that grant looks like and how you word it, right? One of the things, so here are just a couple of my tips. And if you want to reach out and have a chat to me, please do. I can certainly help businesses look at quite a range of things within their businesses, you know, from planning through to strategy, through to new product ranges, through new core services, leadership, team building, etc., etc. So if there are anything, or if you just want some feedback around what you're thinking of doing, of applying for the grant, please, feel free to reach out. More than happy to provide any sort of a help. So tip number one, don't think of this as free money, right? Do not think of this as free money. There's a reason why betting companies will offer you bonus bets or free money to go into your account. There's a reason why Google Ads do the same thing. Here, open up a Google Ads account and we'll give you a $50 credit, right? Human nature, unfortunately, is part of human nature is that we will likely treat that like it's not our money, right? That it's free, it's a bit of a bonus, and we will gamble and take a risk on it, right? In the terms of a betting company, that's exactly what they want you to do. Take a risk on a bet on that 100 to 1 shot, right? And then what they're looking for is for you to then get, you know, hooked or addicted or enjoy that feeling and then start to put in your own money. The same with Google Ads, right? We'll have a crack at something even though we probably haven't given it the right amount of time to think about what our message is going to be, what that marketing message is going to be. So you cannot think of this as free money, right? You've got to think of this as an investment and an opportunity for your business. An investment and an opportunity in your business. And the reason why I say an investment is because there will be an acquittal process where council turns around and says, okay, you've had the money, we've given it to you, you've done your project, what has been the results? And we really want to approach that acquittal process with a lot of integrity. This is what's happened in my business. This is how I've grown my business. Thank you very much, because now my business is a much stronger business. So do not think of this as free money. There is a grants process that you need to follow. We have some great grants writers out here in the Redlands. We've got a lot of consultants that are willing and able to provide you exceptional value for that $1,000. So if you don't want to reach out to me, that's fine. Reach out to someone that you trust and that you've got a relationship with. Just don't expect them to work for free while you work towards your grant, okay? Just there is a fee for service with grant writers. They provide a wonderful service, a great service. They increase your likelihood of getting it, but it is a fee for service. So don't expect people to work for free while under the promise that if you get the grant, I'll pay you then. It can't work like that. You've got to really be clear around what it is that you want to be doing with the grant. So first, step number one, it's not free money. There is a process. It will take you work to get the grant, and you do need to be really clear on what it is that you want to achieve and the outcomes that you want to get from the grant. So if you may be thinking at the moment, yeah, that'd be pretty cool to get that, because that needs to be really clear and have a very clearly defined outcome of what you want to achieve with that particular, if you're successful in getting the grant. So how does the money support the new needs or the new outcomes that you want to get from your business, which address some of those needs and those urgent needs and issues from the pandemic, right? So be thinking about that. Be very clear around that before you even start any sort of process. A half-hearted process or a half-hearted application will not help your cause. So it's got to address the needs and the issues, and you've got to be very clear around the outcomes that you want to achieve. Be conscious of the consultant and the professional service that you want to engage in. And I know that I've already had a number of people in my network reach out to me and start talking about it. That's awesome. I feel very honored with that. But ultimately, you need to have the right consultant working with you. One that's going to deliver really good value, but someone that you can trust and is going to help you get the outcomes that you want. So if it's a marketing, and even though marketing isn't one of those clear things that they've outlined, it may be a specific business advisor that you need. You need to talk to someone about your marketing, maybe. That could be potentially part of your application. I'm not saying it is, but it could be, and it may be. So be very clear on what you want to achieve, the outcome. Be conscious of your choice in the consultant and the professional service. You've got to choose the right one for you, and you've got to expect that there's going to be value there, because there will be a value based in the selection process, no doubt. And you know, business coaches, for example, can range in a huge multitude of prices. For an example, some of the most well-known ones here in Australia are charging well over $1,000 a session. So if you're putting forward a grant process to spend one session with a guru, maybe you're not going to be considered a successful applicant. I'm just saying. The final step is be aware that there is an acquittal process. This isn't here's $1,000, do your best. There is a process where you must then report and provide some outcomes back to council. So don't think of it as free money. So the 4 things, don't think of it as free money, right? It's an opportunity, and you want to invest time into that opportunity. Be very clear on what it is that you want to achieve and the outcome, and how that outcome addresses the needs and the impacts from the coronavirus crisis that we've been going through. Be conscious and clear on your choice of consultant and the professional service that you're looking at. And then finally, be very much aware that there is an acquittal process, and that you want to operate that acquittal process with integrity after achieving the outcomes that you've set out to achieve. It goes without saying, if I can be of any help for you during this process, please reach out. We'll be providing some further updates via my Facebook page on some of the programs and processes that I can certainly be helping businesses with. You know, whether it's a contingency plan, a disaster relief plan, how to recover from where we are, those sorts of things. So I will stay tuned, stay connected with my Facebook page, and I'll start to share some of those as we go through. I hope you've taken some really good tips from today. I will provide the link for the council in the comments once I've concluded this Facebook Live. So you'll be able to follow the link and look at some of those, the black and white in and around the grants process. If you are going to go for it, I wish you every success. As I said, it's a great kudos to our Redland City Council for putting this together. In comparison with many other councils, they really haven't done a great deal as at all. So I think it's we should be very proud to be part of the Redlands Coast, the Redland City business community. Good luck, and I shall catch you later. We'll talk soon.